morbidly obese children by inviting the Prime Minister to give a speech. Here.
Am I loud and audible?
Yes.
My speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Panel, we as a government believe that these children should have the right to live a normal life. Because even if the parents think it's right, it's actually wrong. Because you are putting these children in danger. What I'll be doing in my speech here is number one, go through 2 layers of setup of how do these morbid people look like, and number 2, how does taking custody work. After that, I'll be moving on how I'll be mechanizing the debate. Number 3, last but not least, number 3, my principal arguments on number 1, harm, and number 2, responsibility. Now, first I'll be giving my setup. Number 1, how do these morbid people look like? We tell you that these morbid people will look very, very extremely overweight. They are suffering from mobility issues, and they have severe health conditions, for example, like diabetes and high blood pressure. And number 2, how does taking custody work? It looks like this. The government will take the children and bring them into a facility of some sort that hopefully can bring them back into a healthy state. It is likely to be short term, because after they achieve their goal, they should be able to be reunited with their parents. But during the process of when these children are taken, these parents will be examined in case of any in case it's actually genetical, and also educated on the health and the well-being of the children and how to actually properly take care of them instead of giving them something like Doritos every day since they live. They also need to prove why they can reunite the child, and if the child fails to reach their goal or gets more obese when they came back, these parents should not be obligated. These parents should have lost custody of their child. The government has obligation to take care of these children too, because parents have direct. Because even though parents have direct obligation to take care of this, if parents have direct obligation, but if they fail to, like I said earlier, if they fail to educate these children, if they give them on a very, very bad diet, it will be the government's obligation, and the government is obligated to take care, because the government is obligated to take care of the citizens, of their own citizens. And if no action is taken, the children will suffer more and eventually pass away because of their health issues and etc. Now I'll be making the debate. By taking away custody, it means that they're being sent to, for example, like I said, a facility or a short-term home for them to get back into a healthier state. The children are only sent to these camps if we determine the parents are the cause and not because of, like I said, genetics. Because for genetics, it's almost impossible to change them back into a better shape. If it was because the parents' problem, the children will be sent into these camps, and the parents, like I said earlier, will be educated and examined. Panel, remember that we say that we only take the children who are morbidly obese because of their parents' teachings and problems, and not because of the genetics. Now I'll be moving on to my first principal argument, which is about harm. Number 1 is how the children are taken away because these parents are making these children morbidly obese. Why, you might ask? These children are getting health issues, leading to further developing issues with their lives. We are taking away these children to protect these children from their parents. To protect these children. Number 1, these parents are given these children large amounts of food without care in the world about the health and well-being of their children. These children face severe health issues such as diabetes, being immobile, and high blood pressure. These parents are supposed to have the moral responsibility to take care for these children and ensure that they are healthy and fit. The impact of this is on opposition's world. More children are morbidly obese and throwing away their life because they have to go to the hospital every few weeks or are unable to move or stuck at home. Now, number 2 is to ensure their well-being and health. Parents are supposed to ensure that these children are fit and being able to study and learn in schools. on the comparative, if these children are unable to move and due to their severe health issues, due to this, they can get education, they can exercise, they can even lose weight. Side opposition cases fail to address this issue because they fail to get these morbidly obese children from losing weight and fit for health. Now the impact of this argument of what I said earlier was that these children become healthy, and on Gov's side, these children will be sent to fat camp. Now moving on to my second argument on responsibility. As a parent, you have a responsibility to take care of the child. This is above everything. On either side, parents who don't care about their children's health, this is better on our side because we instill responsibility into our parents. On their side, there's a lack of education. They ignore the severe need and leave them be. If they ignore the fact that morbidly obese children can't even go to school or get an education, they have lost the debate. This is likely because if parents don't care about the child's health, they wouldn't care of the child's education too. On our side, we are identifying parents who are doing their jobs as a parent and educating them was saving the child from a life where they are morbidly obese and possibly passing away from a young age. So in conclusion, we have won this debate because we have proven to you why we can make these children better with their health, the parents better in educating the child, and in the future, we have a better nation that's healthy. That I'm very, very proud to propose. Thank you.
It's okay, 6 minutes 30. It's okay. This speech was really good.
Speaker spoke for 6 minutes and 9 seconds. Thank you, Prime Minister. Now to begin off with the opposition's case, let us invite the leader of opposition. Here.
I'll begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panel, let me paint you a picture, a paradigm where parents pass their responsibility towards the government for them to take care of. These children will be a burden towards the government rather than becoming a responsibility. Let me state the problem statement. How these children would have the burden of these parents in their life, and how these children are unhealthy and aren't aware of it because they're children. And why? Because these parents would first off, they wouldn't take care of their own children, and they keep reassuring that, hey, you are healthy, and they keep spoiling these children. And how? Because their child can't take no for an answer towards their parents, since it's the spoiling of their own child is the thing that caused this in the first place. So rather than putting the burden on towards the government, the government should rather let the parents take responsibility of their own child. So our burden here is to demonstrate how these children will become a burden for the government rather than a responsibility, and how it would affect the health and well-being of these children horribly. Now let me go towards my rebuttals. Is how you guys would how these parents harm these children for making them unhealthy, when clearly the intention for their parents here is to feed their child, is to provide the needs, to fulfill the needs of their own child, and not technically harming them. They're not harming these children. Their true intention is to feed these children, to give them food. That's why these children are morbidly obese in the first place, because these parents fulfill their wants and needs. So second, you say how we lack education when we haven't even stated what we will do on our side. So you now going to my stance, which is to prove how letting these parents take custody responsibility for their morbidly obese children is better than putting a burden on the government itself. Our side is to, on our side is to hope that these parents would realize that their child is being morbidly obese is not healthy, and how we want to propose a world where parents take responsibility of their own children and not give the responsibility towards the government, because then it will become a burden. Okay, accepted.
How would they take responsibility if they don't have education or they don't know?
we haven't even stated our policies in the first place, and you're already assuming that we lack education. So let me just go towards my mechanism. It's to make these parents take custody of their morbidly obese children. So our policy is to launch campaigns and to show how being morbidly obese is unhealthy, and to show to these parents, to hit them with the realization that, hey, my child is unhealthy, to make these parents realize that the risks and the disadvantages of how their children require exercise to finally be deemed healthy. So not only would this make these parents realize that, hey, my child, I'm giving them the wrong diet, I'm not feeding them correctly, it will give them the realization that, hey, I'm not doing this correctly, so therefore let me fix on my mistakes, rather than immediately taking away their child just because they're not doing it right? So there's like literally just forcing these parents to lose their children just because they're not giving them a chance, or once even and taking them away immediately as soon as they see that, hey, this child is morbidly obese. Because that's what they said. They said they would take them to a facility to make them healthier, and once they get healthier, they will return to their parents. What if they never get healthy? What if they stay obese their whole life? They would never even see their parents once in their life. So I believe their mechanism is ineffective. So second, we would make a safe space for these parents, to get emotional support, to get mental support, to make them realize, hey, to make a community for themselves. So for these parents that have morbidly obese children, so to make them realize, to help each other provide a diet, like, hey, I have a recommendation, you should feed them this, you should make a meal like this. So they would trade each other recipes, and they would make understanding between each other, and to show that, hey, it's not our fault, we just didn't know, right? Because these parents didn't know that they're making their child unhealthy in the first place. So for my final going over my analysis. First is towards the nation. This will become a huge burden towards the government itself, the nation itself as a whole, because their mechanism states that they will make a certain facility. Not only would they make one, they would make many, right? Because they wouldn't fit a ton of these children in one place, right? It would just make the conditions worse. So of course they would make a ton of these facilities. This will affect the economy in terms, Second, how it will affect the society. People would see that, hey, the government is trying to make these children skinnier, right? They're trying to force these children to become healthier. So just to show towards the society that is being fat wrong? Is being fat that, hey, am I ugly just because I'm fat? Am I unhealthy just because I'm fat? Which is clearly wrong. It's because some people, they have genetics that they can't change, that they can in fact change, right? So I believe that it just shows to them, to you, how their mechanism is ineffective, how taking them towards this facility is ineffective. Because what if these are genetics, and these children are aware, and how they would stay fat forever without realizing that, hey, I'm healthy, hey, this is okay for me, right? Second, towards the individuals, towards the parents, towards these children. First off, towards the parents. How would it affect the parents mentally? Seeing their child taken away just like that, right? Wouldn't you feel sad yourself? Wouldn't you feel sad that, hey, my child is being taken away just because I'm not treating them right? When clearly the whole time I've been trying to do good for them, feeling their needs, feeling their wants. They will feel sad, they will feel burdened, they will feel, I've done everything wrong, so it will affect them mentally, mentally and emotionally. Second, the children. The children have to grow up without seeing their parents. What if they, like I said, what if they don't get healthy? They will grow up thinking that being fat is wrong. They will bully the other children just for being fat, right? Plus, they will have the wrong mindset. They will instill the wrong mindset towards these children, and how these children will in fact be affected, right? Because these children will have to grow up without the presence of the parents. They have to grow up without thinking that they are finally healthy. They have to grow up getting insecurities because they can't change themselves because of their genetics, because or sometimes because of how they can't change the fact that they like this, they like that, right? So now to conclude my speech with saying that our side is clearly winning because we have proven them wrong. So I'm never prouder to oppose.
teacher, he said, how would you feel if your child was taken away? Because you gave them everything away. Because you still you gave them everything away. And like just completely different ways. Like your police system, like you will teach these parents also.
Speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 14 seconds. Thank you, Leader of Opposition. Now to continue the government's case, let us invite the Deputy Prime Minister. Here.
Am I audible at this volume?
Yes.
I will start in 3, 2, 1. Hello, 2 things in my speech today. Number 1, on 5 responses on number 1, children becoming a state burden. Number 2, on parental intention. Number 3, on parents learning. And number 4, on genetics. Then after that, I'll move on to 2 arguments on parental obligation and as well as child welfare. Now number 1, on how parents who dump kids to the government suddenly become a burden to the state because of the financial burden placed on the state. You need to know one thing in our mechanization. The government chooses who they are going to take out of their parents' care and puts them into these care facilities. The government takes them out because of its obligation to protect citizens in the state. The parents do not dump them to the states for these children to become a burden to the state. You do not understand our case. Number 2, on how the parents have an intention where they wanted to feed and give the kids a good life. Now let me pose this question to side opposition. Do you give someone who beats their child to the point of severe injuries to continue teaching and caring for their children just because you tell us that they wanted their children to improve? If they get bad grades and then the parents beat their children until they get severe injuries, is it the parents' fault? It is the parents' fault. Now next, why you want to make the parents learn? We need to know, right? We have education too. We give the parents education as well. But why is taking away the kids immediately actually justified? We tell you it's 2 reasons. Number 1, on how the parents actually know the inherent responsibility of parenthood in society, which is to ensure their children have good welfare. And number 2, that I tell you, having a morbidly obese child is not normal in status quo. An immobile child is not normal. These parents know that it's not normal. You cannot tell me that these parents have a good intention. It's simply ridiculous. And we tell you it's not necessarily that these people did not have education or what these children are supposed to look like. We tell you the problem is not education. We tell you the problem is where these parents actually do not care. This is what we are trying to solve on side government. You do not take this debate. You need to know how, right? This has no financial access point. You cannot tell me that only rich people can access this. Because not feeding them Doritos every single day, making them do exercise, there is no financial entry point to that point. Now, last rebuttal on how children might actually have genetic issues. I think once again, you do not recognize our mechanization coming from our side. Because first speaker told you that we will examine their genetic conditions, and if they are determined to have genetic issues, we will not throw them in these care facilities because they are fat for a reason. They have genetic conditions. We only throw them there when it is the problem of the parents, when we want to protect these children from the parents. Before I move on to arguments, yes, your point.
Okay, are you saying that having a morbidly obese child immediately equal to having abusive parents?
I'm not telling you it's abusive. I'm telling you it's parents who necessarily do not care. Because I tell you, it's not easy to have a morbidly obese child. Let's say your child is slightly on the fatter side. It is quite normal. The child likes to eat a lot. But to the point of morbidly obese, you need to realize that these children cannot walk. These children cannot obtain education. This is the line we are not willing to cross. This is the side you need to defend on side opposition. When your children are slightly fat, fine, no problem. But when they are morbidly obese, is when these parents actually do not care. When these parents do not make a point to give them a good lifestyle, do not make a point to give them a good diet. Now, I'll move on to a point on parental obligation. Now, the reason why this obligation exists, number 1, is because parents are given custody to their children under the assumption that they are capable caretakers. If they are not capable, they are not given custody in the first place, which is an example I'll prove to you in my debate later. Secondly, when parents are given this right, it is their responsibility to ensure the child's welfare because the parents are the guardians of their children, and if the parents cannot ensure this welfare, it is the government's responsibility. irresponsibility. Number 3, how the children are unable to fend for themselves because their parents are the sole party responsible. The children are these weak people. The children have no opt-out mechanism. The children cannot do anything about it. Now, what exactly are the requirements for these people, for the parental obligation? Number 1, for these children to have good welfare. Number 2, for these children to be given rights. Next, what do these parents necessarily do to these morbidly obese children? We tell you, number 1 is that they allow an unhealthy diet. Number 2, they do not give proper health education on how these children should be having a positive lifestyle, and they do not instill a positive and healthy lifestyle into their children. Now, how do all the requirements necessarily fail on side opposition? We tell you it's because the child's mobility is taken away. It is a fundamental right for the child to have mobility or the child to be able to move. And we tell you, number 2, this leads into the children not having adequate education because these parents simply do not care about their movement. If their movement is hampered to such a high level, they are unlikely to get education. You cannot tell me that they get private tuition at home. It's ridiculous. Number 3, okay, now, an example. This is the reason why, in status quo, children of mentally unstable parents are taken away from the custody of the parents. Realize the parallels here. The parallel is that these parents are unable to take care of the parents. We draw this parallel extremely clearly. If these parents are unable to take care of the parents, it means that these children are unlikely to be given good education, unlikely to be given a healthy lifestyle, which is why they are morbidly obese. We tell you the parallels are extremely high in this level, which is why it's actually justified. When the parents can't care, the next in line must, and the next in line is the government in this case. Before 6, any POIs? Okay, now, the second argument on child welfare. Why is it necessarily better on our side? Because they try to bring up this feasibility thing. Oh, these children will never improve from their health condition. I tell you that when it's not genetics, I tell you if it's not genetics, as long as the government provides proper care, as long as they are given proper education, they are able to improve. So why is it better on our side? Number 1, we take away the children from irresponsible parents. Number 2, we provide them better care. And number 3, these children are not forced to endure the conditions these parents put them in. Okay, next. Why is taking away custody necessarily justified? We tell you, number 1 is because children have zero opt-out. If the government does not do anything on it, what are these children supposed to do? They're supposed to run out of their house? It's ridiculous. They have no opt-out mechanism, which is why the government is responsible. Number 2, the parents have failed their obligation. And number 3, the state is responsible for ensuring the welfare of their citizens. If the state cannot ensure the welfare of all citizens, the state fails their obligation, the state is responsible. Now, how does it actually look like? It looks like a bedridden child, because of obesity, is removed from their home. They are brought to a care facility and they are given a proper diet, they are given proper education on health, and they are given a healthy lifestyle. They do not have their life taken away by these parents just because they are irresponsible parents. I am so proud to propose.
Speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 3 seconds. Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. Now, to continue on with the opposition's case, let us invite the Deputy Leader of Opposition. Here. 30 seconds.
Good morning. I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Would you want these children to be both physically and mentally ill? Being taken away from your parents is extremely upsetting them. they wouldn't understand or grasp the fact that they are being taken away just because their parents were them. And also, the number two, you said that the parents don't care about their children when they are fat, but don't the parents have rights? And then you said that it is not easy to take care of these children, but you say that they do not care about the children. Obviously, they take care. You keep stating the fact that obese children, parents do not care about them, which is absolutely not true. You are basically body shaming them, which they can, whereas they cannot control the size of their body. Obesity is an illness, not a choice. Plus, the parents should have gotten their own responsibility in the first place. How would you feel if you were the children that is being fat? Being taken away from the parents is just making you feel speechless. Do you not have any sympathy? I'm sorry, but they will feel like they lack of love, and then maybe their hope in life, because you did not do as what you were supposed to do as a parent. If you are really that obese child parents, for example, you will do anything just for them to improve, not take them to a facility where they will just try to get skinny. You could just strengthen their bond. You could strengthen your bond together with the children, and then try to strengthen and try to not make them feel like a burden. Have some comfort in them. Try to let them have hope that they can be skinnier. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
People said that they let parents take responsibility of the child, but you know, this is what second biggest effort. This is what the second people said. We do everything to help them improve. They have hope they will be skinny if we don't put them in society. These are the only things, the two things they said. But this one he said, this one was a like, did you say anything for this now?
Thank you.
No, I did not. This one.
Now continue with
That's all
the
this.
government's case. Let us invite the government witness. Thank you.
He spoke for sure. Yeah.
My speech will start in 3, 2, 1. The definition of a good parent is not that you want the best for your child. The definition of a good parent is the fact that you do the best thing for your child, that your child is taken care of properly, that your child is actually has a parent that cares for them. If I love my child so much and I have the incentive, and apparently I want the best for my child, I can still be a bad parent because maybe I beat him or something. So they have completely messed up the definition of a good parent, because apparently if you want the best for your child, you are justified for making them morbidly obese. This is completely untrue and unjustified. Now, in my speech, I'll be taking on the case by giving some rebuttals, mostly about the fact that on their side they do not tackle of how our side parents have the responsibility of the child, and also I'll also rebut them about being taken from your parents, and they say that you will accept them. And after that, I will talk about my clashes, which are threefold. Number one, which side is better for the children, which side is better for the parents, and which side is better in general. Okay, Now, my first rebuttal, they have consistently said that apparently being taken with your parents will upset the obese children. Apparently, if you take them from the parents which have made you morbidly obese, which have made you immobile and unable to walk, which have made you unable to get an education and unable to even move or even play with your friends because you're morbidly obese, apparently you're so sad that you're going to leave them. But even if they do have an emotional connection with their parents, don't you think that it's unjustified? Don't you think that it's still justified to put them inside a facility? Because if you're morbidly obese, on their side, they completely brush it out saying that our side is body shaming these morbidly obese children. We have proven why this is a problem. You can't brush it off by saying we're body shaming them. Morbidly obese children have health problems, and it's our right as the state or the government to deal with these people because we are obligated to do it. They claim that we fat shame them, but this is completely irrelevant and doesn't bring any value to the debate. Now, our side is simple. On our side, we identify the parents who do not take care of the children properly. We identify the parents who just feed them rubbish and make them morbidly obese and then on their side, they say that they care for them, it's okay. We say that it is definitely not okay. This is where we draw the line. Because when they are morbidly obese, you definitely know that the parents are doing something wrong, they should be stopped. Okay, so they have also consistently said that the parents will be educated. You can just advise them that, oh, you're doing this wrong, you're feeding them the wrong things, and they'll suddenly change. Well, newsflash, if you just tell someone something, that person is not confirmed to change. If you tell a child abuser, hey, you should not beat your child, will they really change? Will they really think about the consequences if they've been doing it the whole time rejected? Then of course, morbidly obese children, if you make your children morbidly obese, there's already a narrative in the world that if you feed your child rubbish, you are a bad parent. There's already a narrative that does the same thing that opposition does. On our side, we force them to be better. We take away the child, forcing them to not continue their actions any longer and make sure that they understand that what is better for their child. We are the only side that does this. They keep brushing it up, yes?
Okay. Is it also your right to take away parents' right as a parent?
Okay, here's where I bring up the harm principle that's brought up in my first speaker. You can violate human rights if it's a justified reason. You can violate a child's right of freedom of choice because they cannot have a choice to go to school or not because of the fact that they are a child. If a parent does not have rational thinking, cannot treat their child properly, then we are justified to take away that right to take, and then we can take away the children because of the fact that they have already done so much harm to this child, and the fact that they have already done so much harm to this child's future, and that if this goes on, this will become even worse. We believe that this is justified, and the harm principle here clearly stands for our side. Now, the parents, they also said that the parents do care for the children, and therefore it's okay. That's basically the whole case, right? We talked about how the obese children have problems, and that we should stop it. But then on their side, they say it's not their fault because they want to help their children. Okay, well, newsflash here, if you want to help your children, I've already said that this is not enough. You have to be educated and forced to actually know how to take care of a child if you are not fulfilling the correct, yes.
I have to remind you that the right to autonomy is an absolute right.
The right to autonomy is an absolute right. Why are prisoners do not have freedom to get out of the jail cell? Why are children not allowed to leave school? These are violations of the right of autonomy that are justified because there is a justification that is right in this world. The harm principle here is clearly stated in our side, and the fact that you cannot understand it means that you don't get our case at all. Let me remind you that our mechanism, we have clearly stated time and time again in every single one of our speeches that our mechanism is simple. We put them into facilities so that we can give them a healthy lifestyle. And then while they are inside the facilities, we educate the parents in order to let them know what is right for the child. Okay, now moving on to my questions, which side is better for the child in this debate? On their side, they apparently think that if they get separated from their parents, they'll feel sad, boo-hoo. And they say that on our side, they'll feel fat shame, they feel that they're fat. And that's all that they provide for the children. On our side, we tell you that the children have irresponsible parents, their future will be ruined if this goes on further, and that they have they have health problems that, if not treated, if not stopped by the government, which has an obligation, will continue to get worse, worse, and worse. If on our side, we clearly want the best for the children. Their side says that, oh, they'll be sad. Oh no, they'll be sad. Do you really think that justifies us not stopping the fact that they are already morbidly obese and are consistently being fed rubbish by their parents because they don't care about their health? Okay. And number two, which side is better for the child's future? It's obvious here, right? On our side, we stop this action from happening because of the obvious fact that these children's future will be will be jeopardized if they continue to be fed rubbish this way. So in conclusion, I would like to say that on our side, we clearly take this debate because we actually prove how children are obese and this provides problems. We give you solutions, we tell you why these solutions are likely to work, and their side, they just tell you that we body shame people, and that's so sad. With that, I would like to say that I'm so proud to propose.
Speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 19 seconds. Thank you, Government Whip. Now, to continue on with the Opposition Whip, let's invite the Opposition Whip. Indian first.
I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So you said it's not easy to take care of morbidly obese children, but you say they do not care about their children. Obviously, they take care of their children. If it's not easy, they try their best. And you keep stating that morbidly obese children's parents do not care about them, which is absolutely not true. You are blatantly body shaming the children when they clearly cannot control the size of their body. Obesity is an illness, not a choice. And you said you are not body shaming the children, but technically you are body shaming the children by using the term fat in your argument. Don't you think that the term fat is emotionally damaging to the children's mental health? And also, you can't force your children to get skinny and eat vegetables. What if they are a picky eater? Forcing the children to do something they don't want is also a form of abuse. If you want to take children away from their parents who they should be with, don't you think that it will be both physically and mentally damaging to the children? Being taken away from your parents is extremely hard to deal with. And how would you feel if you grew up without a parental figure? They wouldn't be taught the basic morals and principles they should be taught by a parental figure, and they would grow up to do undespicable things such as robbing a bank or doing drugs. And you know the government doesn't always provide basic education that the children need. And if the parents do not fully take care of their children, then why would they have children in the first place? Just imagine if you were the child, won't you feel won't you feel upset that your parents gave birth to you irresponsibly? That is also a crime. And if they did not want to, if they did not want the responsibility of taking care of a child, then they should have put the child up for adoption or just aborted it from the start. Moreover, is it their choice that is it really the children's choice to be morbidly obese? No. And
Yeah.
yes.
How do you solve that problem?
Solve what problem?
The fact that they're morbidly obese.
Do we really need to change the size of the children? Are you really expecting innocent children to put up with your beauty standards? Isn't that And do you really think that putting a lot of children in a facility without their parents are 100% safe for the children? What if they get mistreated in the facilities? You never know what the caretakers might do to the children. They should be, even if they eat unhealthily when they are living with their parents, don't you think that it would be better to get abused by caretakers that they have no blood relationship with? That's all.
This speaker spoke for 5 minutes and 14 seconds. Meanwhile, there's 3 minutes prep time for reply speech.
3 minute prep time for reply speech.
Yes.
Or for silent round?
Yes, 3 minutes prep time for reply speech.
But it's 4 minutes speech, right?
Yes, it's a 4 minutes speech.
Okay.
Okay.
So you also said that putting a lot of children in facility afterwards isn't like 100% safe. This is new material, this spoiler stuff. What is the use of beauty standards when the time to learn? This is really investment. I think it's not quite safe for so many judges. So they purposely put all the many judges in our rooms because we complain. Really, is competition messed up, man. This competition just makes it violation. Anyway.